put on a show of strength a day ahead of the Olympic opening ceremonies. I spoke to Rodger Baker. He's a strategic analyst for Stratfor in their Asia, Pacific, and South Asia region. I asked him about the significance and timing of the DPRK military parade.
So when we look at the parade, I don't think that we see it as something that really becomes taking away from, say, the South Korean Olympics or the opening ceremony that's coming. Certainly the North Koreans had a little politics in shifting the date of this parade. It does match a historic date, so they didn't completely take it out of whole cloth and create something new. But in general, yeah, the parade was there. The parade started a little later than people anticipated. It was a little lower key than one would normally expect for such an auspicious anniversary date for the North Koreans.
And Rodger, a lot of folks like to watch this because it kind of displays military hardware. What is the DPRK up to? This kind of can provide some answers. What'd you see?
Well, when we were looking at it, we were particularly looking at their large missiles in here to see what they were bringing forward, what they were going to show. A couple of things stood out to us as we looked at this parade. Number one, some of the larger missile systems that they have been testing in the past few years that have been failures in their tests, they did not put them in the parade. What they put in the parade were missile systems that primarily have had very successful flight tests, even if only a few. So that suggests that what they're demonstrating is that they're willing to move on from unsuccessful systems, that they're really focusing this on making the missiles just the missiles that they're using as the ones they're showing off. Number two, rather than painting the missiles up in bright colors and putting the name of the missile across the side of them, these were mostly done in subdued colors as if they were for use in the battle, just with their serial numbers on them. So that was, again, one of these demonstrations that these are tools now more than they are for show. The third piece of the missiles was kind of interesting. At least until the day before the parade, commercial satellite imagery was not detecting any of the large vehicles that would be carrying the missiles. So the North Koreans are always very aware of what's above them. They're aware of this constant satellite monitoring of what they do. And they played a little clever with making sure that these stayed hidden until the last minute.
Let's move on to more pleasant subjects. Kim Jong-un's sister is attending the games. Talk to us about the significance of that.
Kim Jong-un's sister going to the games is fairly important in that it's really one of the first members of the Kim family to be there. In some ways, she is effectively at this event going to be the voice and the ears of Kim Jong-un himself. That said, we don't necessarily anticipate a huge breakthrough in relations with the United States, probably not even with the South Koreans. In the end, the North Koreans are unwilling to give up their nuclear program, their missile program. They may be trying to get the South Koreans to try to keep the U.S. from restarting some of these military exercises and try to keep a little bit more tension between the U.S. and the South Koreans in what each of their intent is, what they hope to accomplish in regards to the Korean Peninsula. But in general, we don't see this as being a terribly successful strategy in the long run for the North Koreans.